But to bring it back on kind of things that we need here. Fourth round picked quarterback Ian Book out of Notre Dame. I kind of like this pick in the fourth round. I didn't like it originally, but kind of looking back on it, I think that it's one of those picks that's got high potential, and for the talent that was there at the time, there wasn't a ton we could have gotten.
Is this going to be Sean Payton's Tom Brady?
I mean, I love the pick. I watched a lot of Notre Dame football last year because they were pretty good. So, and they were always the prime time slot last year. And I remember I'd be watching the games and I'd be like, man, this kid's actually pretty good. And he did it against some decent teams, and he played fairly well against Alabama. And considering the talent had around him to play as well against Alabama as he did says a lot. And I really hope Sean Payton gives him like a fair shot to win the starting job.
This year, you think he has a chance of getting the starting job this year?
I hope he gets a fair shot. Like I hope if he goes in and he looks better than the other two in practice and in the preseason games, I think I hope they give him a chance.
They definitely should.
If he looks better than the other two, I hope they're just not. Well, he doesn't have experience. Let's play the other two. I'm like, oh, if he looks good, if he looks better than them, give him a shot.
I'm a big guy with resting with not playing rookie quarterbacks. I think one of the biggest problems in the NFL right now is that they're just offering these, basically children. I mean, some of these guys are still, 22, 23 years old, and you're just sending them out there to go play with grown men. I think that we just need to give these guys a couple years before they play. I think that it hurt guys like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston earlier in his career did not do well for what they thought he was going to be. It's a tough situation to be in, coming right out of college and having to learn an NFL offense, especially one like Bruce Arians. And for Ian Book, Sean Payton. So it's not going to be an easy road. I think I would like to see him have 2 or 3 years really before he gets to that point.
But then there's
Here's what I
also
have to say. Go ahead, Luke.
the flip side to that argument too is that they're not gonna really learn, and they're not gonna have the chance to work out those kinks that they need to work out without actually playing in the games, going up against other teams fucking full speed. They won't have the chance to work everything out that they need to work out if you let
And
them sit for 2 or 3 years, and then they're gonna come out in 2 or 3 years and start, and everybody's gonna be like, oh man, this is the guy. He's had so many years to learn the playbook, to practice, to get used to this NFL game. And he's gonna come out and he's gonna have those rookie kinks still in game, and then it's gonna ruin his career because they're just gonna bench him or get rid of him after the season. Something like that'll happen. So I mean, there's an
I
argument for
agree.
both sides.
For sure, for
And
sure.
like you said about how Jameis didn't come in and do good right away, but like you're talking about, all right, like Jameis was the first pick of the draft, so he went to the worst team in the league the previous year. I
Mm-hmm.
think the thing about Ian Book, he's getting drafted into got a pretty solid roster and some good weapons around him. I mean, we're a pretty good team. We were the 28th. What? Yeah, we picked 28th. So what? We were like the third, fourth best team in the NFL last year. So he's coming
Mm-hmm.
in a little bit different than some of these guys who get drafted first and second. You
Oh yeah,
get my
dude.
point.
Yeah,
100%. And look, I do think that he's got some potential. I think that at quarterback, um, it's probably not as important to get in-game reps as it would be for other positions. Because in practice, all those cornerbacks and receivers, they're playing just as tight of coverage. I mean, most of those guys are trying to make a roster, stay on a roster. So I think that years of practice against those guys would really do Ian Book well. But I think you guys also have a point saying that if he's the best guy going in, what's the harm of putting him out there and letting him lose for a season or two? All it means is we'll get better draft picks for him.
That's what I'm saying. Like if Ian Book looks the best on the roster, we're going to be bad either way. You know what I'm saying? If a
yeah.
rookie is better than Jameis or Taysom, then we're going to have a bad year if you start Jameis or Taysom. So start the one who looks the best, let him grow a year. We'll probably still get a good draft pick, and he'll have a whole year of experience under his belt. Say you're bad this year, we're probably going to draft a quarterback next year if we get a high enough pick, and we'll be in the same situation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, next year, man, we just need to
What
not
quarterbacks are
shit
going
the
to go
bed
after
on.
next draft?
I mean, you never know, but someone's going to
Yeah.
go off in college and be like Burrow. Who would have thought he would have been the number one
Yeah.
pick? And he went off 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, threw a ridiculous amount of touchdowns, came out of absolutely nowhere. You know,
Oh,
so
he didn't come out of nowhere, man. He told us. He told us it was gonna happen, and nobody believed him.
that's true, dude. Nobody believed him. I'm sure there's a select few who believed him as a diehard, but dude, the improvement from his first year and second year with LSU is astounding. And we wish him all the best here at this podcast. We're small Bengals fans, not big Bengals fans, but small Bengals fans, just for him.
Especially
hate-
on
Well,
the more.
Bosby, you can leave. It's okay. If you don't like
I
Joe
hate-
Burrow, you can leave.
No, I hate the
Yeah.
Bengals, but they don't protect Joe Burrow like they should. They have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. They don't have any protection around Joe Burrow, and that's why he got hurt last season because he has to always scramble out the pocket because he gets like 2 seconds in the pocket before there's a 300-pound lineman 2 inches from his face.
Bowlesby, they signed a lineman in free agency who's very good, and they drafted 3 linemen. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, they are focusing on Joe Burrow. They signed 3 linemen and one of his best buddies from LSU. Who was it? I forgot his name.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar
Talented,
Chase.
LSU
Have they
this-
built an indoor practice facility
Yeah.
yet? That's the real
No,
question.
dude. Only team in the NFL without an indoor practice facility.
They
Hey
don't
man,
care
that's
about
all right,
Joe
dude.
Burrow.
They practicing outside, bro. It ain't gonna rain.
It's about character, okay? It gives them character. That's what it's all about. It's about the heart. That's what it's about.
Yeah. All right.
They're going to be in much better shape than anyone else. I promise you that.